Hey everyone, welcome to the online program of Amrita IAS Academy. My name is Sibi Joy, and as part of our monthly current affairs MCQ series, this is part 3B of July 2020. So without any delay, we'll go into the question. The Bilateral Trade and Investment Agreement, or the BTIA, sometimes seen in news, is an agreement between India and A, European Union, B, USA, C, Japan, and D, South Korea. So it's an ABC type of question, and this has been there in the news consistently over the past few cycles, and is a very important current affair that we are learning as part of our international relations too. So the BTIA is actually an agreement between India and the European Union. So if you're not aware about it, please do remember this. It's a agreement between India and the European Union. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is A. The European Union is seeking an ambitious and comprehensive bilateral trade and investment agreement BTIA with India. The talks for the trade pact began in 2007, but was called off after many rounds in 2013. But now it has been resumed with EU-India meeting on resuming the free trade agreement negotiations. So this was there in the news recently. BTIA is a formal agreement between European Union and India. I hope you all remember this. Let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Udangudijaggery. 1. Recently it was awarded the GI tag certification to preserve its originality. 2. It is produced from the sap of palmyra trees. 3. It is commonly used in Ayurvedic medicines. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 1 only, option C 2 and 3 only, and option D 3 only. So we'll be learning about the major products which have been awarded GI tag. And recently, while many products did get the GI tag, the Udangudijaggery was not a part of the products which got the GI tag certification. So taking that into account, I can say the first statement is wrong. Remove the first statement, you are left with options C and D, that is 2 and 3 only and 3 only. Automatically, the third statement becomes right because it's there in both the statements. That is, it is commonly used in Ayurvedic medicines. Let's look at the second statement. It is produced from the sap of palmyra trees. It seems to be right because it could be made from palmyra trees. Even if you have a doubt, I'd say let's just go for option C 2 and 3 only as the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because this jaggery is produced in the seaside town of Udangudi in South Tamil Nadu. Now has just applied for the GI tag application, bringing this unique natural syrup boiled over palmyra fires and set in coconut shells into the limelight. So it's actually based in South Tamil Nadu. The statement 2 is right because Udangudi palm jaggery, also known locally as Udangudi Panangarupatti, is produced from the sugar-rich sap of palmyra trees. Due to its unique topography, low rainfall, the red dune sand in the area has less moisture. So the sap of the palmyra tree is more viscous. Third statement, this ancient natural sweetener that was once exported to Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka and Britain is commonly used as a kitchen ingredient and a component of Ayurvedic medicines in southern India. So that is the explanation about the Udangudijaggery. I hope you all try to remember this. It's a very important question. With this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Melghat Tiger Reserve. 1. It is located in Madhya Pradesh. 2. The Tapti River and the Satpura range form the boundaries of the reserve. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D none of the above. So looking at this, we'll be learning about the major tiger reserves, elephant reserves and the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries of India. And you learn that the Melghat Tiger Reserve is not located in Madhya Pradesh, but rather it's located in Maharashtra. So taking that into account, I can say the first statement is wrong. And while at the same time we're learning about the wildlife sanctuaries and the elephant preserves and the national parks and wildlife other biospheres, we'll know that the Tapti River and the Satpura range actually form the boundaries of the Melghat Tiger Reserve. Taking that into account, I can say the option B 2 only is the right answer. So you may be asking like, sir, how will we learn about this, or how we can try to remember this? Just try to understand that where the state is located or where this wildlife sanctuary is located. Knowing the state, if you see that the river is coming through that, it's quite large possibility that it could be the right statement. So since Melghat Tiger Reserve is located in Maharashtra, and the Tapti River and the Satpura range are also present over there, and the Melghat Reserve is also present near these places, it is quite possible that the statements 2 can be right in case you are not aware of it specifically. Use such logic to find answers for questions which you may not be really sure of. So I'll say the answer is option B 2 only. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. Statement 1 is not correct because Melghat was declared a tiger reserve and was among the first 9 tiger reserves notified in the 1973-74 under the Project Tiger. It is located in the northern part of Amrita district of Maharashtra state in India. The second statement is correct because the Tapti or the Tapi river and the Gavilgad ridge of the Satpura range forms the boundaries of the reserve. The Tapi river flows through the northern end of Melghat Tiger Reserve through a forest which lies within the catchment area of the river system. So that is the explanation to the Melghat Tiger Reserve. I hope you all understood this, where it is located and its boundary system. So with this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the state of food security and the nutrition in the world report of 2020. 1. It gives special focus on the hidden health and climate change costs associated with current food consumption patterns. 2. It is produced with a global network against food crisis and international alliance working to address the root cause of extreme hunger. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, and option D, none of the above. So looking at this, let's look at the state of food security and nutrition in the world report of 2020. The first statement is highly related to the theme of the question which is being asked, that is, it gives a special focus on the hidden health and climate change costs associated with current food consumption pattern. So taking that into account, I can say the first statement is very similar to the question which is being asked. But the second statement, it is produced by the global network against food crisis and international alliance working to address the root cause of extreme hunger. It is not actually the global network against food crisis, but rather the Food and Agriculture Organization which is doing this. So we'll be learning about the various reports and the organizations which are publishing them as part of our current affairs. If you have read through it or seen the videos, definitely you'd know this. So I'd say in this case, the answer is option A, 1 only. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is A. The state of food security and nutrition in the world of 2020, or the SOFI 2020 report, presents the most recent and authoritative estimates of the extent of hunger, food insecurity and malnutrition around the world. The statement 1 is correct because this year the report includes a special focus on transforming food systems for affordable healthy diets. It analyzes the cost and affordability of healthy diets around the world by region and different development contexts. New analysis is actually presented on the hidden health and climate change cost associated with the current food consumption pattern, as well as cost savings if we shift towards healthy diet that includes sustainability considerations. The second statement is not correct because it is jointly produced by the FAO on the United Nations, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the United Nations Children Fund, World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization. The global report on food crisis is actually produced by the Global Network Against Food Crisis, which is an international alliance working to address the root cause of extreme hunger. So understand who provides this report and who provides the global report on food crisis. I hope you all understood the explanation. Try to read through the explanation for any more clarity, and if you have any doubts, feel free to contact us. With this, we'll be going for the next question. In context of the Pulicat Lake, consider the following statements. 1. It is the largest brackish water lagoon in India. 2. The Sriharikota Island separates it from the Bay of Bengal. 3. The Subarnarekha River feeds fresh water in this lagoon. 4. The Flamingo Festival is held annually at Pulicat Lake. Choose the correct code. Option A, 1, 3 and 4 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, 2 and 4 only. And option D, all of the above. So looking at this, let's take the first statement. It is the largest brackish water lagoon in India. So while learning about the Indian geography, we'll know that the largest brackish water lagoon in India is actually the Chilika Lake in Odisha. You'll be learning it as part of our Indian geography. And the Pulicat Lake is the second largest brackish water lagoon lake in India. So taking that into account, I can say the first statement is wrong. Remove the first statement, you are left with option B, 2 and 2 only, and option C, 2 and 4 only. So automatically the second statement becomes right, and you are left with just one option to be determined, or one statement to be determined, which is option 4. The third statement also becomes wrong. Let's look at it. The Subarnarekha River feed fresh water in this lagoon. No, the Subarnarekha River does not feed the Pulicat Lake. The second statement which is right, we'll just check it. The Sriharikota Island separates it from the Bay of Bengal. Yes, that is true. Sriharikota Island is actually in Pulicat Lake, which separates it from the Bay of Bengal. Let's look at the fourth statement. The Flamingo Festival is held annually at Pulicat Lake. Yes, that is absolutely true. The fourth statement is right. So looking at that, I'd say the option C, 2 and 4 only is the right answer. The answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because Pulicat Lagoon is the second largest brackish water lagoon in India after Chilika Lake. It is considered to be the second largest brackish water body in India, measuring 759 square kilometers. The second statement is right because there is a large spindle-shaped barrier island named Sriharikota which separates the lagoon from the Bay of Bengal, and this barrier island separates the lagoon, is also the home to the Satish Dhawan Space Center of the ISRO. The third statement is not correct because the two rivers which feed the lagoon are the Arani River at the southern tip and the Kalangi River from the northwest, in addition to some smaller streams. The Buckingham Canal and Navigation Canal is part of the lagoon on its western side, and the lagoon and its river basins are located in both Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu states. Statement 4 is correct because the Flamingo Festival is organized annually to encourage tourism in Pulicat and Nellapattu. So understand the Flamingo Festival is also organized in Pulicat and Nellapattu. Where it is located? It is located on the boundary between Andhra and Tamil Nadu. The Sriharikota Island is present in that, and it's the second largest brackish water lagoon in India. So that is the explanation for this question. Let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements. 1. Maternal mortality ratio, or MMR, is defined as the number of maternal deaths per 1,000 live births. 2. Reducing the global maternal mortality rate is one of the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG. 3. India registers a steep decline in maternal mortality ratio in 2016 to 18 in comparison to 2014 to 16. Which of the above statements are correct? A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 1 and 3 only, option C, 2 and 3 only, and option D, 3 only. So looking at this, let's take the definition of MMR, that it is not the number of maternal deaths per 1000 live births, but actually 1 lakh live births. Taking that into account, I can say the first statement itself is absolutely wrong. Remove the first statement, you are left with just option C and D. We managed to make it a 50-50 elimination, that is option C 2 and 3 only and option D 3 only. So automatically the third statement becomes right in this context. Let's look at the second statement. Reducing the global maternal mortality ratio is one of the SDG. Yes, reducing the global maternal mortality ratio is one of the sustainable development goals being put forward all throughout the world. So I would say the option C 2 and 3 seems to be the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because the MMR is defined as the number of maternal deaths per 1 lakh live births, and the statement 2 is correct because the target 3.1 of SDG set by the UN aims to reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to less than 70 per 1 lakh live births. The statement 3 is correct because India registers a steep decline in maternal mortality ratio, where MMR has reduced in India from 113 in 2016 to 18, from 122 in 2015 to 17, and 130 in 2014 to 16. According to the Special Bulletin on Maternal Mortality in India of 2016 and 18, which was released by the Office of the Registrar General's Sample Registration System. So India has a very comparatively lower MMR of 113 in 2016 to 18 compared to the earlier numbers, which are a bit more higher, but the SDG aims to bring about the MMR rate to 70 per 1 lakh live births. That is the explanation for this question about MMR. I hope you all remember this. Remember the data if possible. Remember it comes under which goal and everything. And with this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Nishta program. 1. It is launched under the centrally sponsored scheme of Samagra Shiksha. 2. It aims to improve the quality of higher education through information communication technology. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D none of the above. So looking at this, I can say the Nishta program is something that has been there in the current affairs recently and consistently. So it is definitely launched under the centrally sponsored scheme of Samagra Shiksha. But the second statement aims to improve the quality of higher education through information communication technology. No, it is not meant towards improving the quality through information communication technology, but rather it's a teacher training program. You'll be learning about the Nishta program as part of our current affairs. You would have read it as part of the videos we are uploading, or the news cycles. It has been there consistently. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is option A 1 only. The answer is A. Statement 1 is correct. The Department of School Education Literacy has launched a national mission to improve learning outcomes at the elementary level through an integrated teacher training program called Nishta under the centrally sponsored scheme of Samagra Shiksha in 2019 to 20. Statement 2 is not correct because Nishta is a capacity building program for improving quality of school education through integrated teacher training, where it aims to build competencies among all the teachers and school principals at the elementary stage. It is the world's largest teachers training program of its kind, with the basic objective of to motivate and equip teachers to encourage and foster critical thinking in the students. The initiative is a first of its kind, wherein standardized training modules are developed at national level for all the states and the union territories. So that is the explanation for this question about Nishta program. I hope you all understood this. We are going for the next question. Consider the following statements about the PRASAD scheme. 1. It focuses on identifying and developing the pilgrim sites across the country to enrich the religious tourism experience. 2. The Ministry of Tourism provides central financial assistance or CFA to state governments for implementing this scheme. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D none of the above. So talking about the PRASAD scheme, this too has been there in the news cycles consistently over the past few months or past few weeks. Taking that into account, I can say that both the statements are absolutely right, that it focuses on identifying and developing the pilgrim sites across the country to enrich the religious tourism experience. Second statement also seems to be logical with the key term of PRASAD or the PRASAD scheme, that it provides central financial assistance to state governments for implementing this scheme. So taking that, I'd say both the statements are logical with the PRASAD scheme, and I'd go with the answer that option C, both 1 and 2 seems to be the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is correct because it was introduced in 2015. The Pilgrimage Rejuvenation and Spiritual Augmentation Drive, or PRASAD, is a government scheme that focuses on identifying and developing the pilgrim sites in the country across to enrich the religious tourism experience. Total 13 Tier 3 cities have been identified under the scheme. The statement 2 is correct because the Ministry of Tourism provides a CFA to state governments for implementing the scheme, and for components within public funding, the central government will actually provide 100% of the fund. For improved sustainability, it also seeks to involve a PPP and a CSR as well too. So that is the explanation for this question. I hope you all learn about the PRASAD scheme and what are the major objectives and what it aims towards. So that is the explanation for this question. Let's look at the next question. Consider the following statements about the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, or the NIIF. 1. It is India's first infrastructure specific investment fund to invest only in commercially viable greenfield projects. 2. NIIF funds are registered as alternative investment fund with the Securities and Exchange Board of India or SEBI. 3. NIIF and UK government launches the Green Growth Equity Fund or the GGEF to invest in renewable energy and clean transportation in India. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, and option D all of the above. So let's take the first statement. It is India's first infrastructure specific investment fund to invest only in commercially viable greenfield projects. That keyword seems a bit highly restriction, because it says that only the investment can go only towards commercially viable greenfield projects. Greenfield means projects that are just upcoming or not yet that are just going to be built. So to say that there is an infrastructure investment fund only towards commercially viable greenfield projects seems to be a bit illogical, because there could be commercially viable brownfield projects. Brownfield projects are projects which have already been implemented and are running successfully. So saying that it's invest only in greenfield projects seems to be a bit of a misnomer. So I would say the first statement is wrong in this context. Let's remove the first statement. We are left with just one option, option B 2 and 3 only. Many questions in UPSC would be like this. Try to identify such keywords which will help you to eliminate the many of the options and reach the right answer, even if you don't know about it very much. So the second statement is registered as an AIF with SEBI. Third statement, NIIF and UK government launched the GGEF to invest in renewable energy and clean transportation in India. Both of the statements seem right in this context. I would say the option B 2 and 3 only seems to be the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. The statement 1 is not correct, because NIIF is India's first infrastructure specific investment fund that was set up by the government of India in Feb 2015, and the objective was to maximize economic impact mainly through infrastructure investment in commercially viable projects, both greenfield and brownfield too. Second statement is correct because NIIF currently manages 3 funds, that is master funds, fund of funds and strategic fund, each with its own distinctive investment mandate, and they are registered as an AIF with the SEBI. The third statement is correct because NIIF partnered with the UK government to launch the GGEF under its fund of funds to invest in renewable energy, clean transportation, water and waste management and other related sectors in India. So that is the explanation about the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Hope you all understood this. I hope you all try to remember the major points under this. With this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Rajya Sabha. 1. Fourth schedule of the Constitution provides for seat allocation distribution among states and union territories. 2. The none of the above or the nota system applies to the Rajya Sabha polls. 3. The secret ballot system is used in Rajya Sabha polls. 4. Only elected members of the State Legislative Assembly can vote in the Rajya Sabha elections. Select the correct answer using the given below code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 1, 3 and 4 only, option C 2 and 3 only, and option D 1 and 4 only. So looking at this, we'll be learning about the Rajya Sabha as part of our polity syllabus for our civil services examination. We'll be learning about each and every one of these points. So taking that into account, I can say that the second statement, the none of the above or the nota system applies to Rajya Sabha polls, is actually wrong. The nota system does not apply to Rajya Sabha polls. Let's remove the second statement. If the second statement is removed, you are left with just 2 options, option B 1, 3 and 4 only, and option D 1 and 4 only. Taking that into account, I can say option 1, that is the 4th schedule of the Constitution provides for seat allocation and distribution among the states and union territories. The 4th statement, only elected members of the State Legislative Assembly can vote in Rajya Sabha elections. Both of them are right. They are a part of the static portion of the polity syllabus. We'll be learning about it. So the 1st and 4th statements are right. Now the only question is on the 3rd statement. The secret ballot system is used in Rajya Sabha polls. No, in the Rajya Sabha polls, the secret ballot system is not followed, but rather the open ballot system is followed. This is something you will be learning about while learning about the Rajya Sabha. So the 3rd statement is also wrong. I would say the option D 1 and 4 only is the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is D. Statement 1 is correct because the 4th schedule to the Constitution provides for the distribution of Rajya Sabha seats among the states and union territories. The second statement is not correct because the nota system does not apply to the Rajya Sabha polls, because in 2018, Supreme Court through a ruling struck that nota option is available only for general elections held on the basis of universal adult suffrage and cannot be applied to indirect elections based on proportional representation. The 3rd statement is also not correct because open ballot system is used on Rajya Sabha polls compared to the secret ballot system of Lok Sabha. In open ballot system, each party MLA needs to show his or her marked ballots to the party's authorized agent before they are put into the ballot box. The statement 4 is correct because only elected members of the state legislative assemblies can vote in a Rajya Sabha election. The Delhi and Puducherry assemblies, union territories with a legislative assembly, elect members to a Rajya Sabha to represent the 2 union territories. So that is the explanation for this question about Rajya Sabha. I hope you all understood this. With this, we'll go for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Barak River. 1. It drains all the 8 northeastern states of India. 2. The Sonai, Longai and the Katakal are some of its major tributaries. 3. The navigable portion of this river has been declared as the National Waterway 6. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, and option D all of the above. So let's take the first statement. It drains all the 8 northeastern states of India. No, the Barak River does not drain all the 8 northeastern states of India. So the first statement is absolutely wrong. We'll be learning about the Barak River while learning about Indian physical geography for our civil services examination. So let's remove the first statement. When the first statement is removed, you are left with just option B, 2 and 3 only. That is the Sonai, Longai and the Kataka are some of its major tributaries. And the navigable portion of this river has been declared as the National Waterway 6. Both of them seem to be right in this context. Let's go for the explanation. That is the answer B, 2 and 3 only. The answer is B. Statement 1 is not correct because Barak River is a 900 km long or 560 mile long river flowing through the states of Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram and Assam in India and into the Bay of Bengal via Bangladesh. It does not flow through Meghalaya, neither does it flow through Arunachal Pradesh or Sikkim or Tripura. The second statement is right because the Katakal, Jiri, Chiri, Modura, Longai, Sonai, Rukni and Singla are the main tributaries of the Barak River. The third statement is also correct because the navigable portion of the Barak River in India, the 121 km stretch between Lakhimpur and Bhanga, has been declared as the National Waterway 6 in the year 2016. So that is the explanation for the Barak River. Know which are the states it's being flowed through and the major tributaries which come under it, and know it is also a part of the National Waterway 6 between Lakhimpur and Bhanga. So that is the explanation about the Barak River. I hope you all remember this. With this, we will go for the next explanation. The next question. Consider the following statements about the Arad Putten hydel power project. 1. This hydel power project will be built on the Chenab River. 2. This power project is part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or the CPEC. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, and option D none of the above. So looking at this, the Arad Putten hydel power project was actually in the news recently, and it specifically mentioned it is not built on the Chenab River, but rather it is built on the Jhelum River, and it is also a part of the CPEC. So taking that into account, I can say that the first statement is wrong, but the second statement is right, and I would go with the option B 2 only. In this cases, these are certain difficult questions, but please remember that these are being discussed in our current affair videos. These are being discussed consistently in the news cycles of the past few months and weeks. So if we are aware of them, we'll definitely know about these things, and we'll know how we can eliminate certain options and reach the correct answer. So in this case, I would say the first statement is wrong and the second statement is right. The answer is option B 2 only. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is B. The statement 1 is not correct because last week Pakistan and China signed an agreement for the 700 megawatt Arad Putten hydel power project on the Jhelum River in Sudoti district of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. The statement 2 is correct because this $1.5 billion project is the second power project under the CPEC for which an agreement has been signed in the last 2 months. The first agreement for the 1100 megawatt Kohala project was signed on actually June 23, and that project worth $2.3 billion will also come up on the Jhelum River near Muzaffarabad. So this also comes in the Jhelum River, but it comes in Sudoti district, whereas the earlier one, which is the Kohala project, comes in Jhelum, but it comes near Muzaffarabad, which is also in POK. So that is the explanation for this question. We'll go for the next question. In context of the National Pension System or NPS, consider the following statements. 1. It is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. 2. Both resident and non-resident citizen of India in the age group of 18 to 65 years can join NPS. 3. An individual having NPS account cannot enroll for the Atal Pension Yojana. Choose the correct code. Option A 1 and 2 only, option B 1 and 3 only, option C 2 only, and option D 2 and 3 only. So the first statement, it is not regulated by the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India or the IRDA. The national NPS does not come under the IRDA. It's a fact. We'll be learning about what NPS comes under a completely different statutory body, but it does not come under this body, which is the IRDA. So let's remove the first statement. If you remove the first statement, you are left with just 2 options. We managed to make it a 50-50 elimination of probability, that is option C and D. 2 only and option D, which is 2 and 3 only. The second statement is right in both of them. Let's look at the third statement. An individual having an NPS account cannot enroll for the Atal Pension Yojana. That is wrong. An individual having an NPS account can enroll for the Atal Pension Yojana, but they cannot have multiple NPS accounts. So I can say the third statement is also wrong in this context, and the second statement is right. So I'd go with the option C 2 only as the right answer. Let's look at the explanation. The answer is C. Statement 1 is not correct because the scheme is regulated by the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of the PFRDA, and the National Pension System Trust or the NPST established by the PRDA is actually the registered owner of all assets under the NPS. The second statement is correct because any individual citizen of India, both resident and non-resident in the age group of 18 to 65 years, as on the date of submission of NPS, can actually join the NPS scheme. The third statement is not correct because opening multiple NPS accounts for an individual is not allowed under the NPS. However, an individual can have one account in NPS and another account in the Atal Pension Yojana. So that is the explanation for this question about NPS. I hope you all remember this. With this, we are ending this video. This is CB Joy signing off. Everybody have a nice day. Thank you.